So my day to day is I go in and I guess being beside the operations and fundraising and all that kind of stuff. I'm also the big brother of the house to the hundreds of kids that we looked after, and be that inspiration to this kids that say that at this level, which is high level. You can also, they're important enough for you to sit and have lunch with them or interact with them and be that kind of love for them as well. So that's the best part of the job. So we work with basically youth that society or community call it the dust of life. So they're kids that don't belong anywhere. They're in juvenile detention centers. They committed conflict with the law. They're the hill tribe minorities, an outsider, kids that's been abused and neglect, been orphans, especially girls who need an opportunity because they live in a culture where they've been suppressed as well, and they don't give an opportunity to education, access to education on a platform to have a voice. So they're the kids that the underserved that we represent in at KOTO. Oh my goodness, I feel so blessed because I with the Australian education that's taught me the value of fighting for the underdog. And I think that's kind of helped me and prepare me for the work that I do today. I came to Vietnam and I call it the walk that changed my life. My background is tourism, and because of that, I went for a walk and met accidentally four street kids in a time where Vietnam was considered a third world country, and I made a decision to be that change that I want to see in the world. So I came back with $200 in my pocket and no knowledge of Vietnam, and never in my wildest dream and expectation that I could imagine running an organization like KOTO. I think that it stemmed from love and focus and sacrifices that has built KOTO. And yeah, so I would never imagine to be in this spot, and I'm very lucky because I feel that I'm doing something that I'm the last 25 years, which I know a lot of people don't have the privilege of working a job they love so much that they don't even consider it a job anymore, but more of a so it's your life. It's a good life, even though there's a lot of hardship, of course, but yeah, it's still a joy to come to work every day. What? Are you serious? No. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. Wow. I didn't expect that. Thank you so much. I I'm so overwhelmed at the moment. So if I'm not speaking the right words, so please forgive me. So yeah, it's a real encouragement because it means so much as an Australian as well to be recognized in Australia. I'm very honored to be nominated in the first place with the people that in this category because when you mentioned this, Joanne, I said there's just incredible, remarkable people that dedicate their lives as well. So it's just an honor to be nominated in the same category as them. And the people who supported me. And you're right, it's been a really tough year. Um, it's when you're looking at a whole bunch of kids that when they ask you to have a lockdown because a lot of them don't have a house to go to, so and we don't have the income as well, so that helps as well. So this award comes for them as well. That this dedication and it's worth it because there's people like that in Australia, which is home for me, to say thank you for what you're doing as well. But, I growing up as an immigrant, and I'm so the reason why this award means so much to me is because it celebrates diversity. Being Australian doesn't mean that you have to be a typical, a phototype of Australians that you often see, but it celebrates all types of people that have contributed to Australia. And I'm always very proud to be an Australian, to do the work we do here, and represent Australia. So growing up as an immigrant, cutting coupons out of convenience and giving that opportunity to prosper and to be educated under the Australian system has been a privilege for me. But also on the other side, I'm also experiencing racism. When you think about Vietnamese in the 80s, it's always about where's your gun and why aren't you in the gang and that kind of stuff. And for those kids that are growing up in that kind of immigrants background, to know that you can be who you want to be and break that kind of stereotype, and that you can be equal, and you can and you can be great, and you can do all that kind of stuff that you want to do. You just need to be Australian. I represent an education. I sit on an education board in Vietnam, represent the VET, vocational education training, and I realize it's so important that if you don't go through the traditional routes of higher education, university, you can actually have another path of learning trades and skills, and you can be equally have a good life from that occupation and professions. So because of that, it's good to see that there's always choices that you can make. You just need to make one instead of just be able to not do anything in life, because you learn to regret it. I got my university degree at 48. I'm about to graduate with my master's at 49. So I can tell them that it's never too late, and it's always the best thing about education is that it's never too late. You can always, when you realize and when you're ready and you think that it's important enough, and you do it for you, and it's not because you need to do it because you need to get a job only, but it's more about serving kind of self-satisfaction, then go through that as well. So it's great. Through our system, we can actually have choices. I think Australians, as Australians, we always pride ourselves to be an international community, and is always fighting for the underdog as well. Vietnam at the moment is going through probably its toughest lockdown, and I know that Australia and the rest of the world is probably the same as well. I think that Vietnam is a really incredible tourist destination for Australians, and it's getting very popular before the COVID. And I hope that we resume, because they said the new normal is always about this and that, and I don't believe that. I think that even after COVID, people still needs to travel and understand other cultures, and I think that we should continue to do that. And I think that everyone needs to eat, so the restaurants should be open, and not do this e-commerce and not have that human to human interaction. So I think it's just continue to go back to be Australians, and travel and see the world and learn and interact with other cultures as well. And we definitely need your prayers right now as well.